What's going on, everybody? This is Paul, aka Powerhouse21. Recently, I got a Darkvoice 336 SE headphone tube amplifier. For those of you not familiar with the vacuum tube jargon, tube rolling is just the term for trying out different tubes in the same socket to find the sound you want. I read over an article from 2017 from themasterswitch.com. I'll leave the link in the description below. It had a few good phrases in there that really helps me explain what I'm actually talking about. A reason to tube roll is not only to get the best sound quality, it's also to get the best build quality and longevity out of the tubes as well. Sometimes a tube amp will come with cheap tubes just to get you up and running. To me, those are really placeholder tubes. The nice thing about tube amplifiers and tube rolling is that you get to choose the sound that you want. You get to choose that new sound that the amplifier puts out by just changing a tube. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3, so it really depends on the amp that you have. But in this case, I can change one or both tubes and get completely different sound qualities. By trying new tubes in the sockets, you may add more mids or highs. Some tubes may add a thick and bassy addition to your audio. Some can add a vintage warmth to everything you're listening to, but you get to decide. One thing I want to stress quite clearly, everything in a tube can be subtle. There may not even sound like there's a difference from one to the other. Some audiophiles and people with trained ears will hear the differences, but you or I may not. The reason I'm making this video and a lot of subsequent videos about the tube amplifier is to experiment whether or not we can hear the differences in middle-of-the-road tubes or stock tubes or vintage ones as well. I do have on the way some 1960s, 1970s tubes that actually fit and are for that socket on the Darkvoice. I want to know if there's any truth that I, as a person with a non-audiophile ear, can pick up the differences in tubes. I've already tried this in a similar video. Check it out right here. It's the SMSL SU8 sound color profile video, where I did hear the most subtle, the slightest of differences between some of the profiles, but they were not like EQ, they were not glaringly different, they were just slightly different from the next. So I have a feeling that tubes might be the same way. What I want to do today is take the audio straight from the DAC, recorded through the Focusrite 2i4, and compare that to the sound of the stock tubes in the Darkvoice. I'm also going to be comparing it to the SMSL SU8 tube color profile 1, 2, and 3 to see if it's at all similar. The untrained of us may not hear any differences, but that's actually the point to all of this, to see if it's worth it for someone like me, and maybe you, to dive into something like a Darkvoice tube amp. So let's jump into this experiment with the stock tubes on the Darkvoice 336 SE headphone tube amplifier. Alright everybody, those were the stock tubes that came with the Darkvoice 336 SE. That was also a comparison of the SMSL SU8 sound color profile standard and tube 1, 2, and 3. So tell me in the comments below which one you actually liked the best, and if you didn't hear a difference, comment that too, because I'm actually interested in how many people, like myself, probably didn't hear anything. I have to go back and listen to this again, because I think I need to really dive in and shut my eyes and listen carefully. And I know over YouTube it's 1080p and that's pretty much what you're gonna get. I could put this up at 4K, but honestly, I don't know if there's any audio difference between 1080p and 4K. If there is, however, please leave a comment below, because that means I need to start doing these videos in 4K. So did you hear a difference? Like I said, comment below. And if you like videos like this, go ahead and subscribe and hit the little bell so you know when the next one comes out. I'm really excited to do these tube amp videos. I'm also going to get into more networking items from Comtrend and Nexus Link. So go ahead and subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.